Echelasi, welcome, or Kwe, hello. I'm Mayor Matt Risser. Welcome to the Town of Lunenburg's 5th annual raising of the Mi'kmaq Grand Council flag. Our town, once called Escadic, or at the place of clams, is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. It is my honor to be joined today by special guests Houston Barnaby, Elder Todd Labrador, Melissa Labrador, and her children. Also with us today are Lunenburg Town Councillors Stephen Ernst, Melissa Duggan, Deputy Mayor Peter Mosier, Councillor Ed Halverson, and we've got regrets from other councillors who are working. As you all know, we raised this flag because this past Friday was the second National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. October 1st, which Todd and Melissa launched another one of their birch bark canoes at Keji very successfully, I've heard, is Treaty Day, and of course we're all treaty people, and October is Mi'kmaq History Month. Now I'd like to welcome Houston Barnaby, who's going to share with us some words on treaties and reconciliation. Houston is a Mi'kmaq from Quebec and is an Indigenous rights and governance lawyer. He is the co-founder of Indigenous Treaty Partners, who educate organizations on what it means to be Indigenous in Canada. Houston.
Good afternoon, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Houston Barnaby. I'm a Mi'kmaq from Listovich, Quebec. And I would like to tell you a story. It is a 500-year-old story. In fact, it is our story. It is a story about cooperation, about love, understanding, sharing, relationship. In the early days of our relationship, we got along very well and shared with each other everything we knew. Like every relationship, there were times when both sides didn't get along. And when things got tough, we leaned on each other and signed treaties of peace and friendship. We signed treaties with this relationship in mind. We both agreed to get along because we wanted to preserve what we knew was going to be a lasting relationship. Today, much like the rest of the world, we are a collection of human beings who are still learning to love each other. This is exactly why days like today are worth celebrating. Because there is no greater richness in life than that of relationship. And there are many ways we can prove this. Through science, we can determine the physiology of different emotional states. When one is stressed, our blood vessels constrict, cortisol levels rise, and we're more prone to illness and death. On the other hand, when one is experiencing love, it is almost an entirely opposite physiology. Our blood vessels relax, right? We experience more pleasant hormones like dopamine and oxytocin. We are more creative. Our immune systems are stronger. This tells us something. This tells us that nature is telling us that love is the most important. In fact, there are many other examples on when love is the most important because, history teaches this, right? Are there any history buffs in the audience? Anyone particularly loving history? Yeah, that's great. Well, the common theme throughout our human history so far has been one of violence and bloodshed. This is not a white, black, red, brown, or blue problem. This is a human problem. And in fact, it is still happening. People convinced that the other is an enemy. And what are we to do about this problem? You see, this is a problem of the utmost importance. This is one that we have been grappling with for thousands of years. It is only when we look at this problem deeply that we see how, in everyday life, we contribute to this problem. The problem is one of divisiveness and violence. And the solution to this worldwide problem begins right here with each and every one of us. It is only when we come back to each other in relationship are we to solve the problems of violence and greed. So again, I bring it back to today. Why days like today are worth celebrating. And I can say in my experience operating Indigenous Treaty Partners, which is a Indigenous consulting firm dealing primarily with Indigenous cultural awareness training, that I can say in my experience that everyday Canadians are beginning to lean into these relationships. We are beginning to learn that there are still many things that we can teach each other about what it means to live a good life. Because remember, relationship is the most important. So on days like today, after having recognized and honored the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation on September 30th, and celebrating Treaty Day on October 1st, we are signaling to the world that we are ready for peace and friendship and prosperity for all. And it's my hope that we get to continue to gather like this and to continue to share with each other, because there's still many things to learn from each other. And so I am convinced that as we come together more in the spirit of peace and friendship, and most importantly, love, that there are brighter futures ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Houston. Next, I'd like to introduce Elder Todd Labrador and his daughter, Melissa Labrador. Elder Todd, as I mentioned, is well known as a builder of birch bark canoes, and Melissa is an artist, a builder of birch bark canoes, a member of the town's anti-racism committee. I think there's about 6 other things I could mention, but we'd be here too long. They are both direct descendants of the original Labrador family of Lunenburg, and I'd like to welcome them to share some local stories. So Todd and Melissa.
So before we talk, Nagusette, my daughter, would love to sing a song for you.
So, Gwe, hello, my name is Nagusette, and Nagusette in Mi'kmaq means son. My brother Declan here, he's my twin brother, 30 minutes older than me though, so we're not that different, but his name is Declanisette, and his name means moon. So it's kind of sun and moon, so it's kind of pretty cool the way that we are named. But today I'm going to sing you the Mi'kmaq feast song. But it's not a song about a feast. It's a song for feasting your spirit, your soul, and getting it ready for the cold winter months that are coming. One day, one day.
as my sister told you, my name is Descendants, which means moon in Mi'kmaq. And I'm gonna sing a little song called Ego. Let's hope my thing doesn't fit. Okay.
Guys, that was good for my son to do that. He's hearing impaired, and he forgot his hearing aids, and he wasn't sure he wanted to sing, but that was good. So it's lovely to see everybody here, and it's always an honor to be part of this event every year. We have deep family ties here to the original Labrador family, being direct descendants to the family. The area is special too, and you can see just being in the area, in the town, the energy here, why my people would have lived here, my family. The exact location, we're not quite sure, but we have a pretty good idea that it is where the water flows into the harbor. I wanted my twins to sing a song for you because our stories and our knowledge is carried through the songs and chants as well. So it kind of sets the tone, even though you're not hearing words or understanding that point, you are hearing knowledge that's passed down through these songs as well.
Great. My name is Todd Labrador. My Mi'kmaq name is Songwinuk Mujimukat, the one who dances on water. Really happy to be here and to see this happening. Grandkids grow up so fast. It wasn't that long ago that I used to do these things alone. Now I'll soon be able to bring my rocking chair and just watch. It's really nice to, I'm always amazed at their voices, and although Nuggie is a bit shy, but she does
I'm not shy. I used to be, but then the tables turned. And now he goes 24/7.
So last summer we built the birch bark canoe here, and a couple years ago I was thinking, great grandfather built the mast hoops for the Blue Nose, the original Blue Nose, and his name is Joe Jeremy, and it was nice to have that history. But my father always said, the history was never really written down, and so we're working hard to get that recorded, to recognize great grandfather and the work he had as part of the Blue Nose. I often thought, when the first ships came into this harbor, what they saw, and I thought, the first vessel in the harbor with a sail was birch bark canoe with a sail. And last summer we got to sail alongside the Blue Nose. You know, it's a huge ship and a little tiny canoe. Although it was 21 feet, it looked pretty small. But it was a special occasion to do that. And we just finished a 21-foot canoe this summer. We built at Kedwikujik National Park, and it's being shipped off to the Canadian Canoe Museum. And we're really happy to see the flag raising here. And my memory's not the best, but I think some of these people here helped work on that canoe last summer. And so hopefully in the future we can build another canoe and I can put you back to work again.
And sit back on your rocking chair.
So I'm really looking forward to getting more involved here in Lunenburg, and I don't live very far away. But thank you so much, and just want to close by saying, you know, my father always told us about the trees and all the different trees, and with the recent storm, we did see what he was telling us. He said, if we could see beneath the floor of the forest, we'd see that all the trees are holding hands. All the roots are connected, intertwined. And with this recent storm, some of those trees were uprooted. But we could still see them. The roots were still connected. They were still holding hands. You know, the trees are all different species, the maple, the birch, the pine, the oak. But they're all trees. And it's like us people. You know, we're all different colors, all different, you know, religions and beliefs. But if we could learn from those trees and come together, support each other and hold hands, we'd be stronger. And so I really have, hope for that in the future, and I'm really happy with what I see here today. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Todd, Melissa, Nuggy, Teppy. And anytime you want us to come back and work on another birch bark canoe, if you're willing to take that risk, so are we. And now, I'd like to invite the Labrador children who've been practicing to raise the flag. So that brings our ceremony to a close. I want to thank Houston Barnaby, and I want to thank the Labrador family for generously sharing their stories and wisdom with us today. Melissa also helped us create a series of Did You Know facts about our local Mi'kmaq community that you may have seen on Facebook over the past week. If you missed them, there's a leaflet over there next to the refreshments that you can pick up. And the sharing of food is important in Indigenous culture. Blueberries, being such a Nova Scotian icon, or a traditional Mi'kmaq ingredient. So today we're sharing blueberry cake with you. Please stay and enjoy some fellowship with one another. And thank you all for coming today. Walalio. Thank you.
I have one more funny story to share with you guys. Okay, so as my grandfather was saying over the summer, how we launched one of the many birch bark canoes with the Blue Nose, how we were sailing alongside her, and all of a sudden we ended up beating the Blue Nose with all 5 of her sails up at a race in the water, and we ended up having to slow down for her because how far behind she was. So that was kind of funny, and it turns out the tiny little birch bark canoe can do anything. Thank you.